Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Just going to have a quick look at the mounted orchids at the moment. I know there's a project orchid in amongst those, but we're just going to have a look anyway. We had an accident this morning. Talk about clumsy. I was using my nice new air pump to oxygenate the water to do the deesers, and I inadvertently trod on one of the stones and crushed it. Now, luckily they are readily available on eBay at dirt cheap, basically, so I got a pack of 5 for £3 something with free postage, so they'll be here early next week. Now it still works, it still blows bubbles out of the tube, it's just that they're big bubbles, not the fine, fine ones that the air stones produce. Duh. But having done that, it does, and had a broken one to sort of feel and play with, they are actually quite fragile. So I think a pack of 5 is a wise idea. Anyway, they had their oxygenated water with a bit of feed in them. We've got no sign of rain on the horizon because it would be nice for them to get actually rained on. That's going to be another bonus of them being outside. There will be periods where they get watered by being rained on, which is better than anything I can do, I suspect. Anyway, the mounted orchids. Now I will get these down, we'll have a quick look. Now this is one that Lynn sent me. I haven't touched it, this is how it came. It's Dendrobium jenkinsii. I had a specimen plant of this once upon a time and I just lost it. I think it made it round here and then gave up. But it's not growing. There's nothing wrong with it. The bulbs look a bit shriveled, that's natural, that's what jenkinsii looks like. There's me saying it's not growing. Yes, it is. I'll have to put it down. That is a new growth where my thumb is. Didn't notice that, and I've just watered it. So it's just coming into growth as we go into June. Yeah, it should be coming into growth as we go into April. So it's got at least one new bulb coming. That sits up in the brightest light, along with this one, which we mounted not long ago. This was Oncidium cheriforum, and it had some tiny new growths on it when we planted it, 3 pieces, and as you can see, that little piece there, the new growth pushing on quite nicely. The top piece has got 2 new growths pushing on, and the bottom piece, the new growths around the back. going up the back of the mount. But it's growing, so hopefully it'll be okay. Again, that lives in the bright light. They're often found in full sun. Now these two are not doing very well at all. These are my aphyllum. These are aphyllum kikis that were taken off the main plant a fraction before it died. There's no sign of new growth on these. They're not dead, they're not shriveled. There's a couple of canes that are shriveled, but yeah, they're just not growing. Just not growing at all. Now this is the other one. This was the main plant, what was part of the main plant, and some kikis. And if you look there at the base of the main plant, we got 2 new growths starting. Yeah, so this is, and there's at least 1 new growth coming on that piece. So the ones on here are growing. And then there's a little kiki there that's got some tiny little roots on it. I'm not going to move it. Actually, this kiki at the bottom as well has got a new growth just starting. So this piece is growing. Those are going to grow on. But again, those new canes should have started, 2 months ago. So that's that lot. Then over here is the rest of them. This is a bit of an assortment. This one is Kaneko, which was failing in a pot badly. So I thought, it was originally on a mount, and when we came round here it started to fail, so I put it in a pot and it just did nothing. So I thought, well, we'll put it back on a mount. And it's not dying, it's not shriveling, but it's not growing. I mean, there's a kiki at the base of the left hand side of the plant, and another one partly up that cane. But there's no sign of new growths at the base of the pieces. So not doing well, but not dying. Now this was a kiki from Lynn of Dendrobium nobile, the species, the variety Cooksonianum, and the new growth on here is pushing on nicely. It's got roots. It had roots when I got it from Lynn. I mounted it. It survived the winter without shriveling, and it's now got a new growth. And that new growth will have time to produce a cane, hopefully somewhere near the size of that one. That will give it two. I don't expect it to flower, but when it gets to blooming size, probably in a couple of years' time, that's going to go outside in the winter to get that to bloom. It'll only come in if there's a threat of seriously cold weather, you know, freezing weather. And then this one over here, has got one little sign of growth on the right hand cane, the cane that's got no leaves. And this is, I forget what it's called. It's got a very strange name, it's Dendrobium obviously, and I can't read the tag. It's faded where it was in the, it had its back to the sun. It's Bry something Eanum, Brymerianum or something like that. But anyway, the blooms on it are gorgeous if I ever see them. But again, no sign of life from the base of the main plant. And then the little side kiki has got a little tiny new growth starting. It doesn't seem to be growing very quickly though. So not doing great, but not dead yet. And then these are more kikis that I got from Lynn with no tag. I do know what it is. I believe it's Signatum. Dendrobium again, obviously. And this one on the left hand side has a nice new growth. The one on the right hand side has a new growth and some roots. And the top part isn't doing anything at the moment. But we've got some growth. So we should get some new canes on that one as the season progresses. And then another Dendrobium here. Oh, actually, this is Signatum, so what that previous one is, I don't know. I'd have to go and look it up, which I'm not doing. Yeah, again, kikis, mounted, not much sign of life at the moment. I have to wait and see what happens with that. But again, I mean, the canes aren't shriveled, so, you know, there's hope. That's that one. And we come down to the more Oncidium types. Now this is a Miltonia hybrid, and it's the one that looks like Moreniana. I probably said that wrong, but it's the pieces that were left, and they've been mounted, and the two new growths are pushing on quite nicely now. I don't see any roots massing in the moss, but there should be some in the not too distant future. So the two pieces that have been mounted are growing, so that, you know, that's good because that's a nice blooms on that, nice big Miltonia type blooms, purple. And then we've got the one that indirectly came from Insa, another Miltonia flavescens, a species. And since this was mounted, the two growths have pushed on a lot. I still don't see a mass of roots, but it's growing, and hopefully those two new growths can push up bulbs big enough and strong enough to get some roots out, because this has virtually no roots. So at least it's growing. It's pushing on now, so that's good. And then last but not least, down here is a twinkle, I believe this is. Yeah, twinkle, Oncidium twinkle, pink profusion. Now the piece at the top has got a nice strong new growth on, and the two little pieces at the bottom that I didn't hold out a lot of hope for have also got two new growths that are pushing on now. They're not big strong growths, nowhere near like the top one, but at least I've got three pieces growing. That's the main thing. And then the last one, the last mount, is actually our project plant. So, but I'm going to include it anyway because we're looking at the mounts. I can't exclude project plants just because they come into a different set. So this is a strange one because this piece here was sticking out the top of the pot. No roots, just a rhizome with two very silly little bulbs on the top, tiny. The two growths are pushing on nicely here and here, and it looks like a new one starting. This piece was a couple of bulbs that were buried in the pot, but they also had some roots, so I thought we'll put them on the mount and they might produce a new shoot, but they haven't yet. So that's that one. And yes, we're in for a bit of a treat, and I think it might be a first, I don't know. And I only noticed it this morning as I walked past. We got a bud. And this is a Dracuvalia. No, it's not, it's a Masdevallia. I'm getting my plants muddled up here. More coffee. Yes, this was one that was got at Wisley, and it's the one that I picked up in my hand because it looked a good plant and I didn't want anybody else to get it. Wisley's busy, you know, there's people pushing and shoving and grabbing stuff, and you know, so I just picked it up to make sure nobody else got it, even though I wasn't sure whether I was going to buy it or not. And a viewer spotted me and came over and offered to buy it for me. So this was paid for by a viewer at Wisley, and we have our first bud. Now, unlike a lot of Masdevallias, the bud is heading out the side of the pot, so it's going to hang over the edge, which is good. It means, you know, it's not going to get tangled up in the leaves or anything, and it's probably not going to need staking or any support. But we've got a bud, and as I said, I've only just noticed this as I walked past. Hasn't been watered for a couple of days, so I doubt if that bud was there when I watered it, I'd have seen it. So there we go. And the buds on the Miltoniopsis vexillaria, it's a named variety, it's Josephina. The buds are pushing on quite nicely now. We've got 2 spikes, 3 buds on each. Probably with a healthy plant, that would be the minimum number of buds you'd get on a spike. On a healthy plant, you'd possibly get 5 or maybe even 6. On an unhealthy plant, you might only get 1. So 3 on each, on a relatively small division. I'm pretty happy with that, and they are pushing on quite nicely. They're going to be quite a show. Those are very attractive Miltoniopsis plants. Lovely delicate pink with some markings. So that's that. I watered my bonsai this morning outside. I don't need to water the tubs. They were watered later in the day yesterday and had a good soak. So those should be okay. And that's all the watering I need to do today. I watered the mounts and I watered the Deesers. So I haven't got anything else to water today. I'm effectively going to take the rest of the day off, orchid and garden wise. I have got some work to do. I've got some, our AGM is coming up, Orchid Society AGM is coming up, and I have to do a treasurer's report for the previous year, which is obviously now closed off. So for 2024 I have to do a report on, you know, the finances of the society. So I've still got a bit of work writing up some of those things. The day book is a spreadsheet by month, and it's basically got income, expenses and banking, 3 main columns, 3 main sections, and I just key everything in. You know, somebody pays their subscription, income, you know, with their name against it. Expenses, if Lynn's bought some paper for the printer, expenses, you know, it's all very straightforward month by month. Trouble is, at the year end, I have to add them all up, don't I? So I have to go through, by category, so sort of, subscriptions for the year, if you see what I mean. But I've devised a nice way of doing it, because I've done a representation of the day book, so income and expenses by category. And then because it's a spreadsheet, it adds up each month for me. So I look at the day book and transfer the figure into the month, and then. But I've still got some work to do to get that report finished. So I shall do a bit of that, and we shall see how we go. But yeah, not every day has to be busy. But some days are just not lazy, just not so much to do. And there is no watering cycle that comes round today, so it's not going to get done. I've done all that's necessary to do today. So the other thing I have noticed with the decer, this flooding the pots, I am going to get through my RO water a bit quicker than before, but so be it. We'll see how we go with them, and see how we've done at the end of the season. And if they're a miserable failure, then we might just give up on them. If, however, we get some growth, now we've changed what's happening to them, they're outside, and if we get some blooms and everything, then we'll do better next year, because the changes we've made have worked. So they should grow better. And if we get in that state by the end of the season, I may well get some more strong, healthy plants from the guy I got these from. So we start off with strong, healthy plants and don't let them go down. So we'll see how we do. I'm going to do an Easter now and end on a bit of colour. So shall we have a look at some black flowers? No, we'll have a look at these, because these are looking nice at the moment. Very nice. So, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.